He just busts out with this, and I'm like, whoa, okay, you've got my attention. I think it's incredible. Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a top 10. I think I may go a bit overboard. Top 10 most experimental Afrobeat songs. Or let me just say African songs, because experimental would imply, outside the Afrobeat genre. What I'm using to judge this category are four major things. One, personal preference, obviously. Two, if the song or the project is entirely different from what we, the audience, I'm talking an Afrobeats based audience is used to, something different from what the artist usually does, and finally, inventive. How inventive is the song or the genre or whatever I'm going to highlight. Then to throw in one more thing, production. What does the production sound like? I mean, this underscores literally almost everything, but let's see. So the first song on this list is none other than OMG by Breezy. Now, I'm not going to hold you guys. I was a bit skeptical when the first time I heard this song. I was like, what is going on? But that's usually an audience with any new song or any new genre or any new thing anyways. I think it's highly inventive, Afro sexy, Afro future. It's such a hot song. I love everything she does now. Like anytime I'm posting a photo on my story on Instagram, I have to use OMG by Breezy, because OMG, I fucking love that song. Okay, number two, we're going to go for Glory by Tiwa Savage. Now, I think I've spoken about this song on my page before, but she experiments with house music, and she collides that with Afro, so Afro house. And you guys, it's the sexiest thing I ever heard. It's beautiful. The lyrics are affirming. She's chanting for hope, that she smells her flowers while she's around, but the beat is giving, oh, 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 oh. I think it's incredibly beautiful. Yeah, so Glory by Tiwa. I have to also highlight, this list is in no way ranked. This is not a ranking situation. This is just me talking out of my mouth. The third song I'm going to say is Addicted by Remy Boy. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of this song, but I think only recently have I become more comfortable with experimenting my music taste. So that is why. But I remember the first time telling my friend that, oh yeah, I don't really think I like that song. She's like, yo, what are you talking about? She told me, go back and listen to the song again. And I was like, okay, say less. And thinking about it from a very inventive perspective, Rema has always been one to go outside the norm. He has been one to always dare to challenge the norms. So I'm not surprised he made a song so beautiful like Addicted. So I love it. It's quite euphoric. It makes me think of space. It makes me think of outside of my mind, think of that I'm outside of my mind. I think it's incredibly hot. And yeah, that is, how many songs? You guys keep count, please. I think this is the third song I've said now. Now, the fourth song on this list, I'm not sure how many people would know this one, but it's Shake It by Miss Georgie. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Afro trap, but from a woman's perspective. And she speaks in Igbo. So the Afro is Igbo, the trap is trapping, but then I need you guys to listen to Miss Georgie. Miss Georgie, if you're listening to this, I love you. I think you are inventive. I think no one is doing it like you right now, as a woman, singing in Igbo, rapping in Igbo, singing about shaking her bunda in Igbo. I love it. I really, really, I think it's very modern. It's very African. It's very sexy. It's very timely. It's very like with the times. I think y'all should check it out. So Shake It by Miss Georgie. That's a tune. That's a tune. Okay, so how many songs have I said? 1, 2, 3. I think 4 now. The fifth song I'm going to say is Amina by the Mavens. I think this particular song for me highlighted the metamorphosis of Mavens. One, because the song came out like with the album, the Maven album, I think celebrating 10 years of Mavens as a record label. So they did the whole album, and obviously everybody was on the Wonder More train. And I'm not going to hold you, I was on that train as well. But this particular song caught my eye. I think the the production, the beat sounds like you're entering into a time warp or something very, it's just weird, and I like it. It's extremely weird. It's extremely different, extremely distinct. If you don't know that song, you're living under a rock. I think it's incredibly beautiful. Yeah. And Rema again. Rema, who gave like shout out Rema's mom for giving birth to that boy, because he is incredibly talented. Ira came on the beat and did her thing. I think I prefer her verse the most. I think it's the verse I love the most. So that Briani, Agba Captain Hook, Crayon, he ate his hook there per usual. So that is another tune I think is highly experimental. Now, I think this is the sixth song now. I need to keep count. The sixth song I'm going to highlight is New Rhythm by YC. I first heard this song in 2022. I think it came out, I think it came out with a project of his. And why is this one experimental to me? Obviously, it's extremely interesting seeing a rapper go into the R&B cycle. I think it's very different, it's very hot. And he also has another song, I can't remember the name right now, but he was singing his heart out, and I'm like, you've had this vocal on you all this time and you were letting us chant to Jagaban? Really? But Jagaban is a tune, so I'm grateful for it. I love the transition from rapper to singer, the same way we had quite the opposite from singer to rapper from Mayor Kun. So I'm here for it. I'm here for artists experimenting. It's art. Like, do your thing. Okay, now the next song I'm highlighting is another one from Tiwa Savage called Without My Heart. Now, if you know the come up of Tiwa, if you know Tiwa's story, it never gave Afrobeat princess, Afrobeat queen. She was always a pop star. She has always been a pop star. I think she used to be a background artist for she used to be a background singer for Mary J. Blige. So you already know her foundation was not giving Afrobeat. And knowing her story, knowing how she wanted to become, like she came to Nigeria looking for a career in music here, and still dropping a song so different. I think it's really, really cool. I think the story is really, really cool. And this song is just, I think it was is a perfect example of what Tiwa has always wanted to do. And I'm not surprised. She recently said in an interview she wants to go back into R&B. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to more pop, because Without My Heart, and that song is very close to me and my girls. We danced it in high school. So shout out that song. Yeah. Okay. Now, song number, please, someone should be keeping score because I don't know what song I'm talking about anymore. Song number 10, 11, I don't know. Mellow Mellow by Olamide. Now, why is this song on the list? Because Olamide is not shy about talking about his love, apologizing to his love, missing his love, all these things, professing his love to his love. He has never shied away from talking about those things. But the difference with Mellow Mellow is that he came with a very somber present. Even from the beginning, he says, I know they dengue, I know they pose. He came very humble. But with other songs, he's just whining the babe, he's toasting the babe. There's some gra, there's a bravado to his voice. But this one, he came very somber, very mellow as the song chants. So I think it's incredibly experimental, and that is why it's on my list. The song I'm going to add to this list is Company by Melvito and Gabsy. Now, Melvito and Gabsy, perfect combi. Any day, anytime, you put those two in a room, they're gonna deliver. They are gonna deliver. And with this particular song, because it was Melvito's 2022 EP Overdose, and in the EP, you could tell he was experimenting with the production. It was different. It sounded like, How can I personally describe it? The only way I can describe it, it sounded like a machine. It's, a machine attempting to make music. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's extremely different and it works. You can see the experiment going through each song on the EP. I'm talking Run My Way with Gabsy, Falling for Me with Oladapo. Like, you can see him going through this theme all through the EP, and it worked. I mean, anything Mel Vito touches works, but like this particular EP and this particular song, Company, I think it's incredibly sexy. I think it's incredibly hot. I absolutely love it. Try by Obong Jaya. How am I going to make a list about experimental music and not highlight Obong Jaya? I can't do that. That's cheating. I think my favorite thing about Obong Jaya is that he just dares to be different. He's not doing it. That's his career. Doing it differently, testing the extremes, just doing it how it has never been done before. That is his career. And with this particular song, Try, and the entire album, sometimes I Dream of Doors, he had something to say. And the beats, the production aided effectively on that. I think it was a phenomenal project. I think the song Try is the best thing I've ever heard for an intro. I have never seen someone bust out the gate with such an intro before. Because sometimes with Obonja, you don't know what you're going to hear. But he just busts out with this, and I'm like, whoa, okay, you've got my attention. I think it's incredible. It's incredible. Another song I think is incredibly experimental is Heaven's Gate by Burna Boy. Now, I don't think Burna did anything particularly different with his voice or with production. I just think the feature he chose, that's Lily Allen, I think that on its own gives cause for it to fit into this category. I think it was incredibly different. Her voice is not something we particularly hear on Afrobeat songs. So it was not something we particularly hear on Afrobeat songs. So it was quite interesting to experience. I think that song is beautiful. It was done perfectly. She's amazing. Burna is amazing. So that's another song on the list. I feel like I would be failing my people if I did not highlight Odunsi and Santi in this category. And that is exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I think Nothing to Prove, Odunsi's song of his previous EP, Denim, his 2022 EP, Denim, I think people may be used to it, but again, back on personal preference, I didn't know Odunsi to be, I knew Odunsi as a, from, tipsy. So I know him to be a little calm, but with Nothing to Prove, he was like, yo, who are you talking to? He gave that vibe. I think it was very experimental for an experimental artist. So high respect for Odunsi. And with Santi, this may be cliche. This may be a cliche song choice to put on this, but I think Final Champion of his album from Subaru Boys, Final Champion of his album Subaru Boys, it really made me understand the dynamic of Santi as an artist. And again, much respect, because if there's anybody we're going to highlight for doing experimental music, it is Santi, it is Odunsi, it is Obong Jaya, and again, massive respect for these artists dedicating their entire craft to embracing difference, embracing being different. And we thank God for the pioneers of alter music. I'm very grateful for those artists. And I really need to do a little more digging into their discography, just for personal preference. The final song I'm going to highlight is Joy by Jeriq. Again, Afro Trap. We've already spoken about Afro Trap with Miss Georgie, But I think Jeriq has been doing something incredibly different. I remember a friend put me on his song Joy. And let me tell you why this song is the pinnacle of experimenting. One, he sampled Destined Kids. So joy, 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 gay, gay. In my heart is ringing. He sampled that. He sampled the shit out of that song and did a phenomenal job. And then he added them Afrobeat drums. Are you dumb? I've never seen anything like that in my life. So shout out Jeriq, shout out what he's doing for the Igbo space. As an Igbo girl like myself, I'll always be proud of artists who push, who push the norm when it comes to who push the boundaries with cultural music, like ethnic music, high life, Igbo high life. I think when you have a genre so respected and you do something incredibly different on it, it's something I really admire. I think it's really cool. So those are my top 10-ish. I still have some other songs, but I think those are the ones I'm going to say are really great, are really experimental, have really been experimental. Let me know which song I missed. And all the songs I highlighted, Lucky You, are gonna be in a playlist on Apple Music and Spotify because I care for all my music loving babies. Apple Music, Spotify, as soon as this video drops, you guys are gonna get the playlist. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know which song I missed. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I have so many ideas, and yeah, let me know what else you want to hear. Ignore what I was doing with the concealer. I bought new concealer and I'm trying to see if, it works for me. What do you guys think of the concealer? That's my important. Let me know what you think of my category, my list, and I'll see you in the next one.